H-Town, what it do, baby? Welcome in. Welcome into Talkin BS. I'm your host, as always, Steven Zamora. If you can, please follow me on Twitter at ZamoraBSB. That'll be your best spot for any and all show updates that we got going for the program. And today I'm bringing you another off-season preview. This time, the Houston Rockets. And let's be real, I'm going to keep it a buck with you guys, man. This is about to be a short episode because I've done a few of these now, more than a few. I've done a handful. I've done almost half the teams in the league. And I don't know if there's another team that's more set up for success than your Houston Rockets, man. But with that said, we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at all the different ways that Houston can improve by next season. Let's be real. A lot of it's just going to be internal development. So that's why I say it's going to be a short episode. But we are going to look at the weaknesses that Houston has to improve on. We're going to look at the tools that you have at your disposal to improve on those things. We're going to get a checklist going of things that, that the front office must do in order to, progress forward. Then we're going to look at the avenues that you have at your disposal to get better. That is through the draft, that is through trades, and that is through free agency. So all that will lead into a final rotation, a good 10-man rotation. I have a feeling you guys are going to be deeper than that, but we're going to put together a 10-man rotation that hopefully you guys can be really excited about heading into next season. And I see a very bright future ahead for these Houston Rockets. So before we go any further, if you like this kind of content, like I said, I'm doing a preview for all 30 NBA teams, hopefully before the draft in June. So if you like this stuff and you like to keep up with the NBA and, you like predictions or you like off-season content, I'm your boy for it. So follow me, hit the subscribe button, like the channel, do all that good stuff. And, let's get into it. Next up, we're going to look at some statistics that Houston was actually ranked near the bottom of, and, just to give some indication of things that they need to improve on next season. They were 13th in points per game and 13th in points allowed per game. They were 24th in assists per game, 28th in rebounds allowed per game, 27th in effective field goal percentage, 23rd in three-point percentage, 27th in shooting percentage, 24th in shooting efficiency, and 29th in fouls per game. So as you can see, you were near top 10 in points per game and points allowed per game. So not a big issue there. I just wanted to show you guys that to see that you guys are, in the upper half of the league as far as those numbers are. But to get those numbers even better, you have a lot of shooting woes. The efficiency numbers are real low. The three-point percentage is real low. And, just like effective field goal percentage, all that stuff. Rebounding is another thing that you're going to have to, take care of. But I have a feeling Steven Adams coming in is going to be a big help to that. And then, the fouls per game, to me, let's be honest, if I'm Ime and, Ime is probably telling them the same thing is just stay aggressive, man. Just stay aggressive. I don't give a damn about fouls. And the same with the front office. The front office needs to stay aggressive and look for all the ways that they can improve this team. So the ways that Houston has to improve this year, they have the 3rd overall pick in the NBA draft. They have the 44th overall pick in the second round. They have Fred VanVleet's $42 million contract, Dylan Brooks' $22 million contract, Steven Adams' $12 million contract, all available for salary matching purposes. They are $27 million over the salary cap, but they are $28 million under the first apron. They could have up to 8 future first-round picks and up to 7 second-round picks tradable until 2030. So a lot of flexibility there, a lot of things going right. You guys actually jumped way up in the draft with that Brooklyn pick. I think originally the Brooklyn pick was supposed to net you 9th overall. You guys have a ton of flexibility, man. You got a superstar contract in Fred VanVleet that you could trade for a max player. You got the Dylan Brooks contract that you can trade for like a star role player, type deal. You got the Steven Adams contract to add in for filler for anything. So you're in a good position. You're in a really, really good position here. Next, we're going to look at some of the things that the front office must take care of before we go into the next season. So first off, we need to figure out Jalen and Alpe's future with the team. We need to establish a pecking order. We need to figure out who the core is moving forward. Will the internal development take us over the top? And we're going to take a look at the star market. So first and foremost, like I said, we got to look at Jalen and Alpe's future with the team. Both of them, I think, have very high ceilings, right? I think Alpi right now is already one of the best centers in the league. From everything I've seen, man, I just love the kid. Like, I'm gonna be real. I'm a Denver Nuggets fan, and Alpi is the closest thing I've ever seen to Jokic. He's damn good, man. I just love his game. I love his style of play. And Jalen Green, like Jalen Green is, he has star written all over him, man. He just has these flashes that a lot of other players don't have. He's athletic as hell. That stretch, that 11-game win streak, he was going off and he played his ass off. But it was coincidentally when Alpi was injured. So there are questions there. Both of these guys are eligible for extensions. Do we give them extensions? Do we give them both extensions and potentially cripple our flexibility moving forward? Do we give one of them an extension and not the other? Does that cause a rift between the two? So there's a lot of questions there. Like I said, getting a pecking order established, figuring out who is your guy that you're actually building around. Like, who is the one that this team is made for? You know what I'm saying? These are things that you got to figure out. Now, looking towards the draft, okay? You guys have the 3rd overall pick in the draft. Like I said, you flew up the draft board with the lottery, which is awesome for you guys, man. So we're going to look at some prospects for you guys, okay? So on the left here, we got a big board provided by CBS. On the right is a big board provided by Tankathon. And in the middle is a big board provided by The Ringer. So I'm sure you guys know by now that this isn't a very star-heavy draft, right? This isn't a draft where you're going to have like a Wemby or a Zion or anything, right? But this draft has a ton of really good potential role players. And of course, every draft ends up with, a few stars anyway. You're in a position too where if you bring in even the 3rd overall pick, you can develop him for a year. You can take some upside here. You can pick somebody who's going to fit your scheme and still be able to provide you a ton of upside and really grow with this team in the future. Like I said, I compare these Rockets a lot to my Denver Nuggets, and the way that Alpi is very similar to Jokic. Jalen Green isn't super similar to Jamal, but he's a guard who can create some offense for himself and, play off of Alpi and stuff like that. To me, this is where you guys go and get a Michael Porter Jr. for yourself. So to me, in my opinion, this is where we go with that 3rd overall pick. Zachary Risacher out of France. He's a 6'8", 200-pound forward, averaged 11 points a game, 1 assist, 4 rebounds. He shot 47% from the field, 38% from 3, 70% from the free throw line. And his pro comp is Michael Porter Jr. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't compare him to Michael Porter Jr. I think he's a better defender than Michael Porter Jr. was. Michael Porter Jr. had the injuries and stuff like that. So, kind of unfair to judge him on that. But I think right now, Risacher coming into this draft is a better defender than MPJ was. That's why my comparison to him is Harrison Barnes. He's a catch and shoot monster. He brings a bunch of versatility to the table. The one thing I found out recently I don't really like is he has a negative wingspan, but not a big deal, because he's a good ball handler. He slashes, he gets to the rim, and he has a ton of upside. I think he's going to be like 19 when he gets drafted, but he does have issues, right? He's not a great finisher. He's not super athletic or anything like that. He's not like a self-creator or anything. He's going to have offense created for him, but he has good off screens and stuff like that. And just finishing, like his field goal percentage within the paint was pretty bad. And he's going to have to add like some muscle, some weight to himself, some strength, in order to compete inside. But that's all development stuff, right? The defensive focus thing as well. It's all development stuff. You play in the league for a few years. You're going to add weight. You're going to learn the playbook. You're going to learn the play style. You're playing under Ime, so you're going to have to learn how to play defense. I think that's a great pick for you guys. I think he just brings a ton of upside to you, and hopefully he's still there by 3. So then we're going to look at trades, okay? Like I said, there's not a ton for you guys to do. I'm just going to be real. I would love to see this team run it back, but you do have some extra depth in some places where I think you can flip it for, some extra potential. So in this mock trade, I have Houston sending Jock Landale to Memphis in exchange for Zaire Williams from the Grizzlies. This would save Houston $1.8 million as well. You have a ton of depth at the center position. You take advantage of Memphis missing out on a center now because you have Steven Adams that they traded to you last offseason. They need a center. I don't know if Jock Landale will be a starting center, but he's a serviceable backup for Memphis. So you give them some center depth. They give you a project that they just can't figure out. You bring in another big athletic wing who, can be under the tutelage of Ime Udoka and, mold him in the ways of Tari Eason, of Amen Thompson, of, these guys, these long athletic, versatile wings. And you just add another one to the cupboard. You guys potentially could be the Minnesota of this year. I think you could even be better, to be honest. Like, I think your defense is going to be hell to go against. You add Zaire Williams too, you're going to have a ton of these long, rangy wings and forwards who can just make life hell on all the players in the NBA. And so with that said, we're going to go into free agency now. As you can see, I noted the salary cap, luxury tax, first apron, and second apron numbers up top for you. Fred VanVleet's contract has a team option after the season, so the Rockets could potentially end up with another $40+ million off the books after the season. Bobby Marks of ESPN, you've got $122 million in guaranteed contracts, and you are in a really, really good position financially here. It will get expensive here, but that is where we have to make a decision on Jalen Green and Şengün. If you base Green off of April and March, then yes, 30 points, 50% from the field, and 45% from three in the 11-game winning streak. I am not writing him a $225 million max contract. Şengün is interesting. No center has gotten a rookie max extension since Bam Adebayo. Look, I agree with Bobby, man. I'm not giving Jalen Green a $225 million max until I see it for a full, at least 3/4 of a season, right? If you can prove to me over 3/4 of the season that you can be a consistent, at least 24, 25 point per game scorer, I'm not giving you the max. Now, Şengün is interesting because, like I said, he has proved that he can deliver. He can be one of the best centers in the NBA. So that's worth debating. At the end of the day, though, if it's me, I'm giving neither of them the max right away. I'm not extending either one. And I'm going into another full year with this team, hopefully hungry. Hopefully they take it the right way and they're hungry and they're like, I want my big contract, and they play really well and they learn to play together better. And then you have those two guys, maybe their chemistry gets right, and then you end up paying both of them because, like I said, Fred VanVleet's contract could be up. You're going to have a ton of space at that point. I think it's just the smart financial move is to just hold it off for a year, see where these guys are, and, if they come through, I'd be happy to pay them. Because you are over the cap, but you are under the luxury tax, you are entitled to the non-taxpayer mid-level exception, which is about $12.9 million. You are also entitled to the biannual exception that you can use in a trade for $4.7 million. So some targets that I am hoping Houston looks at because, like we said, we got to get better at playmaking. You were one of the worst assist teams in the league. The rebounding, I think Steven Adams is going to help a lot with. So that's one thing that I'm probably not going to be worried about too much here. And what was the other one? Oh, and the shooting. Okay, so playmaking, rebounding, and shooting are probably the three biggest flaws with this team right now. So we're going to look at some of these guys in free agency that can hopefully, fix some of those issues for you guys. We got Tyus Jones, Monte Morris, Kyle Lowry, Spencer Dinwiddie, Jordan McLaughlin, Malachi Flynn, Aaron Holiday. And this is where I want to stop. So let's start with Aaron Holiday. He played really well for you guys last year. I know you guys didn't really expect a lot from him, but he ended up playing pretty well for you guys. So that's an option to bring him back, right? Me personally, I'm not paying Aaron Holiday $12.9 million. I'm going to look for better options. Tyus Jones, Monte Morris. I think these are prime candidates. If it's me, I'm signing one of these guys as soon as I can. Tyus Jones is one of the best backups in the league. He has starter minutes, and he provides a lot for you in all areas that you need. You need a playmaker and a guy who can space the floor. He provides both of those. Same with Monte Morris. They're both very good in pick and roll. They're both very good in the mid-range, and they're both good at finding guys in their spots. So I think those are perfect options for you guys. Some more shooting options, right? On the wing, we'll look at guys like Malik Beasley, Gary Trent Jr., Isaiah Joe. Luke Kennard, and Aaron Wiggins. I think those are all really good options. I like the Isaiah Joe and the Aaron Wiggins deals, especially just because those are knockdown shooters, and they played with guys like SGA and stuff in Oklahoma City. Plus, they fit your timeline. And then, if you want a big man, of course, we can look at Mo Wagner, Jalen Smith, and Dario Saric. Um, you know, three big men who, can bring some shooting to the team and just provide some depth because Steven Adams is coming off an injury. So, it doesn't hurt to have, another center on the books, especially if you're getting him for that biannual exception and you're only paying him like $4.7 million. That's awesome. So with that said, we've looked through trades, we've done the draft, and now let's get to our final rotation. So at the point guard, we got Fred VanVleet backed up by Tyus Jones, Jalen Green backed up by Cam Whitmore, Dylan Brooks backed up by Amen Thompson, Jabari Smith Jr. backed up by Tari Eason, and Alperen Şengün backed up by Steven Adams. So as you can see, pretty boring, right? You're basically running the team back is what I would do in this situation. Like I said, not a lot of change because I believe in this team, man. I think your defense is going to give teams migraine headaches. You got athleticism all over the place. I think Ime is one of the best coaches in the league, and you got some great, great prospects. And like I said, if you're not signing Jalen Green and Alperen Şengün to big contracts right now, chances are they're still hungry. And you got some veteran leadership in there now with Steven Adams. You still got Jeff Green, as far as I know, on the books. So you're still going to have Jeff Green there. You could go out and, use the biannual exception to sign another veteran. You got spacing now. You still got Zachary Risachet, who, I'm just developing. I'm just putting a ton of resources and effort into making him our future three. And like I said, we're going to keep this short. So, with that said, thank you guys so much for enjoying this video and sticking around for the entire thing. I appreciate you guys so much. To my subscribers, I appreciate you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. You guys make this whole thing possible. Appreciate you guys. Hit that like and subscribe button before you guys head out, and we'll see you next time. Peace.